Ben Hitchcock at 10-1. Also at 10s, Grey Shot, Tony McCoy. Flying Instructor at 14-1, Dean Gallagher. Chief Song at 33-1, ridden by Richard Johnson. Mel Feely on Celibate at 20s, at 10-1, Red Striker and Richard Guest. Paper Rising, the 6-1 favourite, Tony Dobbin. Native Charm at 33-1, Jimmy McCarthy. Then Super Tactics, Andy Thornton at 10-1, Super Coin and Norman Williamson at 25s, Gallant Moss and Tom Scudamore at 14-1. Just Jasmine is ridden by Roddy Green at 8-1, at 7-1 is Goguenard and Mick Fitzgerald, Catfish Keith at 14-1 and Jim Cullity, and at the bottom Native Wit ridden by Adrian Maguire at 10-1 chance, and an outsider is Matty Batchelor's mount Sky Cab at 25-1.
Shading favouritism. Money for Just Jasmine, a 16-1 shot this morning into eights, out to eights from sevens. Goguenard, who took the eye in the paddock, horse who ran it so well at Aintree last time, in with every chance. And 9's Native Wit, Red Striker, 10's Satchmo, Grey Shot, Super Tactics, and 14's or bigger the remainder.
Could be quite a good pace on here. Grey Shot likes to be up with the pace, so does Catfish Keith. They're 1 and 2 going towards the first fence. Grey Shot and Catfish Keith, Sky Cab and Goguenard. Goguenard just third ahead of Sky Cab, then Celibate, Flying Instructor and Native Charm close up with Satchmo out wide as they clear the second. Paper Rising, a good jump up the inner. Gallant Moss is the early back marker in that noseband as they take the third fence, the last of the railway fences. Gallant Moss didn't meet it very well. And leaving the back straight, it's Grey Shot from Catfish Keith, and then Goguenard with Native Charm taking a keen tug round horses. And there followed these front four by Sky Cab with Flying Instructor up the inside, and then Celibate and Satchmo. Behind these is Red Striker with a white face on the outside, Richard Guest in the red Marauder colours of Norman Mason, followed by Native Wit, and Chief Song is pushed along early. Super Tactics the inside towards the rear, Super Coin, Just Jasmine, Paper Rising up the inside, and finally Gallant Moss as they cleared the pond fence. And it's Grey Shot, this former smart flat stayer, and Tony McCoy making the running with Native Charm now very handy on the outside. Between the pair is Sky Cab, up the inside Catfish Keith, and these four just ahead of Satchmo in 5th place under Ben Hitchcock. Then Goguenard out wide is Native Wit of Red Striker and Celibate. Flying Instructor inside, big jump by Grey Shot over the ditch there. The last to land was Chief Song, who's not travelling today, and just ahead of him are Gallant Moss and Super Coin. A circuit to go. Grey Shot leads to Native Charm, Catfish Keith, Satchmo getting closer, Sky Cab, then Goguenard and Red Striker. From Flying Instructor, Paper Rising right up the inside of Super Tactics next, then out wider as Native Wit, and then towards the rear are Celibate and also Just Jasmine, Super Coin, a couple of lengths Gallant Moss, and finally Chief Song. As they begin the turn right-handed in increasingly soggy conditions here. They're getting a real soaking in this Mitsubishi Shogun handicap chase, and it's Grey Shot who leads them away down the hill. One of the 10-1 bar hopes. Paper Rising went off the 6-1 favourite. Clearly a very open betting market. Just Jasmine, Goguenard 7-1 as they approach this downhill fence. And Grey Shot with Satchmo now into second place. Native Wit on the outside, Catfish Keith, and then Goguenard and Red Striker in about 6th place, followed by a grey Flying Instructor. Paper Rising on the inside, Super Tactics, and Native Charm is tending to run in snatches on the outside. Just Jasmine and Sky Cab are next, followed by Celibate and Super Coin as they near the first down the backs. Gallant Moss is next, slight mistake to that by Native Wit. Native Charm made a mistake. Chief Song continues in last. An aerial view of them over the next plane fence. The front three certainly took it well, and it's Grey Shot approaching an open ditch now from Satchmo and Native Wit, the front three, then Goguenard and Red Striker. A bad blunder there by Just Jasmine. The rider did well to stay aboard. They're getting increasingly strung out. It's been quite a truly run race given the conditions, and it's Grey Shot from Satchmo and Native Wit as they clear the water jump. Native Wit jumped up into second there, going well. Red Striker chasing the front three in 4th on the outside of Goguenard. Then Catfish Keith, Flying Instructor, and Paper Rising still in touch. They're followed by a gap of 4 or 5 lengths to Super Tactics. The first of the row of fences. Grey Shot didn't get very high there, nodded on landing, got away with it. from Native Wit, looking increasingly dangerous in second. Grey Shot, bold leap over the second one of the 3 railway fences. Some haphazard leaps behind. The last on the final. Grey Shot was all wrong there, and McCoy's on the deck. Grey Shot hit that very hard indeed and turned a somersault, and Native Wit has been left in front. Native Wit from Red Striker in second place. Satchmo is passed by Goguenard, who moves into third, then Satchmo in fourth. Paper Rising has work to do back in fifth place, followed by Gallant Moss, who's picking off a few stragglers now. Looking back, Tony McCoy is with Grey Shot. Grey Shot still on the deck, but they run towards the final 3 fences. Native Wit, Red Striker in second, Goguenard on the right. These are the front 3. They're chased back in fourth by Satchmo and Gallant Moss still staying on. Here's the third last, the pond fence. Native Wit, Red Striker, Goguenard challenging on the outside as they race for the final turn, and Richard Guest produces Red Striker in front, with Goguenard chasing, challenging under Mick Fitzgerald on the outside, with Native Wit now struggling to go on. The second last, Red Striker, got in a bit close there. Goguenard challenging hard on the outside. 2 pretty weary horses. Goguenard's getting on top as they run towards the final fence, and it's Goguenard and Mick Fitzgerald, Red Striker in second. Then a gap to Native Wit and Gallant Moss. Goguenard skips over the final fence from Red Striker. Then Native Wit, Gallant Moss is still staying on very strongly indeed, considering the conditions, in third place now, but surely won't catch the leader. It's Goguenard for Nicky Henderson and Mick Fitzgerald, who keeps the 7-year-old going to win it in clear-cut fashion in the end. In second, Red Striker, third, Gallant Moss, then Native Wit. Celibate came home in fifth place, and I think these may be the only finishers. A couple coming home. Catfish Keith did finish behind those, and Super Tactics as well. Everything else has been pulled up, and so Goguenard wins. And
I think Robert Ogden will be buying Mick Fitzgerald a very large drink after